Have you noticed movies getting better or worse? In this video, we'll discuss the content coming out of Disney and other production studios, what content is working and what isn't, how profits and stock prices are being impacted, and where the push for the woke agenda is even coming from. Also, how can studios turn their content around to turn a profit and make you want to go back to the theater? Netflix and Amazon stock have both soared this year, and Disney is flat. The Magic Kingdom might want to get used to diminished profits if they keep producing the same bland, uninspiring content that they are starting to become known for, along with pillaging legacy content like Star Wars and Indiana Jones to the point where fans don't even consider the sequels or remakes worth their time or canon. I've been surprised at how big of a stomach Hollywood has for taking huge losses. There's also no way I'm the only one who has noticed the decline in content of most films over the last several years. Take Star Wars Episodes 7 and 8, for example, where the films respectively take Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, beloved characters we all know and love, and then tear those characters to shreds. I'm not about to do a full breakdown of those films because there's not much I can say that hasn't already been said. When we last saw Han Solo in the Star Wars universe, he was an accomplished man in combat and leadership, extremely capable and sought after by many for his diverse skill sets, his ingenuity, and creativity. He was on an upward trajectory at the end of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Fast forward over 30 years, and what do we see? In Episode 7, The Force Awakens, we saw him being a bumbling fool, not able to track his own equipment or shipments, who he owes money to. He was not able to fix his own ship properly, and he looked like an idiot, and then he got stabbed by his dumb emo kid. Great way for the beloved Han Solo to go out by an emo Sith wannabe. Good work, Disney. Or take Luke Skywalker, who we also hadn't seen in over 30 years. Go from an accomplished Jedi Master full of optimism and resolve, having just taken down the Emperor and saved the galaxy. But where do we find him in Episode 8? Drinking weird whale milk without a single care for the Jedi or the rest of the galaxy. We had a hero with traits of self-sacrifice and optimism, and he was replaced with the lesser traits of self-centeredness and pessimism. Han Solo and Luke Skywalker were both trashed. And for what? To prop up a largely unlikable Mary Sue, who is better than they are in every way for no reason other than she's a girl, and the plot needed her to be better. Minimal backstory, virtually no time training, no meaningful hero's journey, none of what makes protagonists and heroes likable. I was frustrated when Robert Downey Jr. left the MCU due to how Endgame concluded. And like so many fans, I was hoping he'd make a comeback. But after seeing what happened to Chris Hemsworth's Thor in Love and Thunder, I'd rather Iron Man stay dead and Captain America stay largely gone. And what's more, these movies are not exactly connecting with fans. Captain Marvel had a very weak showing because she was so unlikable. And if we're honest, Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury carried that movie for us. It was far more his backstory than her movie, because the audience was actually connected to him. And even if a lot of us were annoyed at how sloppy some of his backstory was written, Nick Fury was still likable. Why am I spending time talking about these films? Because it's hilarious to me how garbage stories keep getting rehashed and produce garbage profits. And these stories, these films, are how these companies make profits. This is their product. Marvel's Eternals is one of the lowest grossing films in the entire MCU. The more woke Star Wars gets, the more disenfranchised fans become. As far as worldwide box office numbers, Infinity War and Endgame have the highest revenue. It's not surprising that Eternals has one of the lowest numbers. To add to it, it's also not surprising that we have seen a series of flops in the Disney Plus releases. Take She-Hulk, for example. And then take the Star Wars content. Add on to that, in the larger cinematic world, Lightyear, Strange World, and a host of others. And so I'm clear, it's not all about woke themes, although that is a huge portion of it. These properties each have source material, primarily the prior films establishing the characters and the universe in which they live. Disney chose to start making up all kinds of stuff that contradicts or reinterprets the source material to make male heroes look like morons and prop up a younger, diverse female cast that is immediately better than their predecessors who we all know and like. Take She-Hulk and how Mark Ruffalo's Hulk was treated in that series. Disney seems to have gone out of their way to irritate their fan base, so they shouldn't be surprised that people don't want what they've got. It'd be like if Taco Bell added massive amounts of curry to their seasoning and then called you a racist for not liking it. Don't get me wrong, I like curry, but that would be a bad move for Taco Bell. But in the woke agenda's mind, it must be because you're just a tasteless, racist, bigot, redneck, and you need your moral betters at Disney and Hollywood to tell you what's good for you. Why would Disney knowingly shovel money into a furnace when they already had a proven formula for making money? If you're wondering where a lot of this is coming from, look no further than to the main investment arms that prop up these companies' stocks. Take, for example, BlackRock, an investment firm so large that if it were a country, its economy would be larger than China. CEO Larry Fink is one of the most liberal CEOs, or at least leftist, not a true liberal. He's on record saying, quote, "Behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors. And at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors." End quote. The critical mistake a lot of these firms have made is that people won't just show up to see movies and watch what they produce, regardless of the content. And if fans get disenfranchised enough, they'll take themselves and their dollars somewhere else. Take Gina Carano being fired from Disney in 2021 for what Disney called anti-Semitic posts. Whether you agree with what she posted or not, calling her an anti-Semite is an advanced yoga pose of a stretch. Good work, Disney. She was so anti-Semitic that she was immediately hired by an Orthodox Jew who wanted her talent and creativity put to work and thought your accusations were garbage. This is probably why Disney has a decrease of free cash and in-cash and a frustrated user base. Lots of families only keep their Disney Plus subscription because of the legacy content. And just you wait. It's only a matter of time until Disney thinks so highly of their mouse god status that they think they can pervert their legacy content as well, assuming people will keep throwing money at them. People don't tend to like being forced to do things. That makes them like a slave, and people do not like slavery, even a slavery of thought. Since the start of the year, Amazon stock is up over 50%, Netflix over 40%, Sony over 17%, and Disney is flat. Don't get me wrong, none of this is financial advice, but thought on why some companies are doing better than others. When we see shows with optimistic, conservative, or patriotic themes like Terminal List, written by an actual Navy SEAL, or the Jack Ryan or Jack Reacher series, or movies like Extraction and Extraction 2, and then the top grossing movies in the United States in 2022, Top Gun Maverick and Spider-Man No Way Home. It should show you what audiences want and what they don't want. We don't want to see legacy characters be rated, belittled, and brought down just to prop up some new character, because that's not how we want to be treated. The gray hairs we get from experience should be respected, and that's what we want to see happen to the heroes we grow to like and love on the big screen. Oftentimes heroes that as children we imitated. Not seeing some kid whose superpower is scrolling TikTok and being sarcastic suddenly overpower our childhood hero and outclass a tried and true warrior. And that's why viewers are walking away from properties who keep doing this. They almost did it to James Bond. And if it weren't for lockdown and delayed theatrical releases, they would not have had time to reshoot the film into something that wasn't a total disaster. We probably have this to look forward to with the upcoming Indiana Jones film. So long as these companies keep insisting on telling us what we want to see and producing classless and tasteless content to keep the woke crowd happy, then 99% of the population that doesn't think that way or want the content will continue to be half-hearted in our attention and in our dollars. Children and parents all want the same thing: movies that inspire, uplift, and draw out our best character traits. Movies that move us to become more, to make ourselves better, to be self-sacrificing, to be loving, to be strong. So much of this hinges on Disney forgetting that once you fail to provide a compelling vision for the future, that the majority of your content is negative and that it robs the graves of past properties for profits. In the present, you will start to lose your best and most devoted fans. There is so much I've not even touched on here, like the failing DC universe, both cinematic and the extended episodic, or the sludge of sitcoms doing little more than to remind us of how good the originals are. I'm looking at you, How I Met Your Father, and that 90s show. We've seen countless iterations of studios trying to reinterpret these stories for whatever they think a modern audience is, and it does not connect. As a result, we have lost several years of what otherwise would have been great filmmaking. The more producers shoot for themes like we find in Top Gun Maverick, Avengers, Spider-Man, and Extraction, the more audiences will tune in.